This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
It's Alex, it's the Ramble, it's another week of fun and games right here on GabNet. Yeah, and here we are. Yes, this is it. This is all there is. It's all that's left of me. Look at this. I got this dewlap here. There no sun? Well, is that what they call it? I don't know. Turkey neck. It's great getting old. It's just great. You know. And then the next big event I have to look forward to in life is death. So, you know, it's great. It's just wonderful getting older. Oh, boy, I wish I could enjoy this. But every bone in your body aches, and you get this thing, and you get that thing, and, you know, it's just one thing after another. Well, anyway, listen, I gotta talk to somebody who we talk to once a week in one form or another, and another is probably the best thing I can say about it. Ladies and gentlemen, the lovely and attractive Phil Meyer. Hello there, Philip.
Hey, how you doing?
How am I doing?
Yeah, you know, it's been another couple days. I guess, you know, I thought about why the show on Monday is such a nice show, because it's the same people pretty much.
No.
Who you know, yeah, it's the same people.
No.
Or many of them.
No. We got Charlie. Brian sometimes calls.
Okay.
And,
is that the same people?
And that's it. We have about 14
You got
people.
Scott Boddicker.
Well, Scott never calls this show anymore.
Well, he used to.
No, but he doesn't.
Well, you know, the
fact is that most of the callers to that show are people who do not call this show.
Well, let me say this about that. You know, with this Twitter thing.
Well, let's not even get into that yet.
Okay, but the reason is that all the people that call that show are in lockstep. They all feel the same way about Trump or politics or just life in general, and that's why there isn't any you know, back and forth.
Well, when you're not here, pretty much everybody agrees with each other, and it's still not as civil or as lovely a program as the one on Monday.
Oh, well, that's because Alan's there.
Well,
yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know what kind of audience I would get if you didn't call and if Alan didn't call, because I get complaints about both of you. I don't want to call because that Phil is there or that Alan is there. You know.
Yeah.
And I got one of those the other day, and I was saying, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. The person was afraid that Alan would call the Monday shows, and I said he wouldn't because I've asked him not to.
Plus, he's sleeping, you know, by that time of day here. He's a night owl.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he used to work the night shift, and he's continued to live in those hours.
Yeah.
But you know, and I was also trying to think of why you didn't remember me, and now I know why.
Why? Because you really make no impression on people.
Well, I thought you were Terry McGovern.
Oh, I see. Okay. No, nobody. Most people would not get that joke who are watching us right now.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's he's a nice guy,
mm-hmm.
and I was actually on his show once. A friend of mine, Lenny Bronstein, when he came to San Francisco, he actually DJ'd Terry's show while Terry was there. He just had him spin records and do his thing. And, you know, Lenny is a very talented DJ. He was the program director at WBCR, Brooklyn College Radio.
Nobody cares about any of this. You realize that.
Well, anyway,
you realize that.
They called me up from the show.
No wonder we only have 19 people watching us right now.
Hey, that's 19 more than you usually get.
Because, I mean, you know, we're talking about heavy Lenny Bronstein.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, you know who he was,
Well,
right?
who once a year still sends me a birthday card.
Really?
Birthday online now,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah,
He's not so heavy anymore.
probably not.
Yeah,
You know.
but anyway, that's the story. Also,
Hmm.
I understand my eye. I'm actually having some problems medically, and I don't know if this is a cataract. You said you had a cataract, and what happened was earlier this week, or late last week, I started getting these flashes that look like comets going across my
No,
eye.
that's not cataract.
No, that was the beginning. Now I have this circle that moves around in the eye when I turn my head. It looks to be about the size of my iris, and it looks like it floats from one side to the other.
The you would find that a cataract does at least my cataract didn't float. My cataracts were in the center of the eye and were blurry, and they stayed that way. In other words, if I look straight ahead, I look this way. It didn't float back and forth on the eye. It was there.
Is there a possibility because I'm moving my eye or looking to the
I
right?
don't know. It might be a cataract. Go to see a doctor. I'm not a doctor.
Well, hey, you had a cataract, and I
I had
think
two
that I
cataracts.
yeah, well, I have. They told me mine weren't ripe, but maybe they are.
Well, that's what they call it. They say ripe. Is it ripe yet?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
so I'm going to talk to the doctor on the phone. You can't even see them. I'll talk to her on the phone and tell her what I got, and then they'll set up an appointment.
Boy.
Yeah, that's no fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, talking about health, Tony is driving me crazy. He has like a 3 point something
No,
PSA.
I already talked to him about that.
Right.
In fact, I had him call me so I could tell him all about it. When's the last time you talked to him?
A couple hours ago.
See, I talked to him a week ago. I gave him the name of my urologist, who I thoroughly trust more than any other urologist, because I don't think you can trust urologists, to be honest with you.
He said that your urologist doesn't take his welfare insurance.
His welfare insurance.
It could be from the city. I don't know. Maybe he's got Cobra from the city, but whatever he has, your urologist doesn't take. And I said, look, all you want's a second opinion. Just pay the guy out of pocket and get your second opinion and decide whether you're going to do
Yeah.
it. I said, if it was my choice with your level of PSA and the fact that it's gone down in the last 6 months, I wouldn't do it.
Mine went down too, but I turned out to have prostate cancer, Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine went down sufficiently, went down by about a third.
Yeah.
And then he did a separate test along with the PSA, and I can't remember what it was called.
A free
No,
PSA?
no, it's not the free PSA. That's another thing. That's another thing they do. This was
Yeah.
a newer test that they do that gives you the possibilities that you might have a Gleason 7 or 6 or above. Okay.
Yeah.
And it came back positive. So that's when he gave me the biopsy.
And you told Tony that's what he should ask for?
Well, I said, if you go to this doctor, he will do that. He believes
Yeah.
in this test as being a good predictor of prostate cancer.
Okay.
And,
Well,
and,
I
when,
told
and when
Tony-
they went in there, they found prostate cancer, and one of the lobes was a Gleason 7. The rest were like 5s and 6s.
Yeah. I told him, I asked him, I said, is there room next to your mother and father's plots for you? And he didn't like that. And I said, we're going to shop for a headstone now. It'll be cheaper if you buy it now instead
What
of
kind
later.
of insurance does he have that they wouldn't take it?
I don't know. It was something I never heard of and don't quite remember what it was.
Wow. Because it got to be a pretty bad insurance if a urologist doesn't take it. Urologists like to take almost everything because basically they deal with older people. So they make sure they take Medicare, and then they also take all the other secondaries,
Well, Tony doesn't have Medicare. He's not old enough.
No, he's not old enough, but he has some kind of insurance, and I think if it were a reputable insurance, they'd take it.
Yeah. Well, and now Tony must take these tweets and go to all sorts of different people, because Alan just texted me and said that Tony's driving him nuts with his PR.
Tony, quit driving these people nuts. They don't know a damn thing.
That's right.
And by the way, call the program. I'd like to find out what kind of fakakta insurance you've got.
Yeah. Hey, I also figured that how many people on this show have gotten prostate cancer? So I told Tony, I said, if you keep calling into the show, you'll get it.
Actually, you and I are the only two. Actually.
No, David. Remember the guy from Czechoslovakia?
Oh, wait a minute. What's his name? Not the guy from Czechoslovakia, but
Vernon.
Vernon had it.
Right, but he got it before he called the show.
No, he was calling the show a lot, but he told me he had it, and then we went through it, and
Oh, okay. The first guy I remember was a guy 39 years old. He was living in Philadelphia. He was from Czechoslovakia.
Oh, yeah, he never calls us anymore. I can't remember his name now.
Yeah, David something. His father, he was staying with his father, and his father would turn the electric off in his unit because he didn't like him using the electric and calling the states.
Yeah, but this guy got prostate cancer or something, and they put him in a radiation-proof bunker or something. No,
right, yeah.
It was like a couple of months.
No, I thought it was 2 weeks.
No, a couple of months or something. Yeah, I don't remember what that was.
It was proton therapy, he said.
Yeah, proton therapy. Yeah.
Yeah. But it must have been the proton therapy that they bought from Russia.
It could be. That's when they just take a piece of radium and shove it up your ass. Yeah. Well, that's what essentially they did with me.
Yeah.
They said there are only 100 little seeds of radiation in me.
Yeah. Well, are you starting to grow plants?
I don't know. I still have trouble. That thing, I think it was I don't think it was the seeds that have caused the problem that I have. I think it was the actual radiation that I had that caused some pee problems and things like that. Yeah.
Well, they do, but I was on I get these emails.
Something this really, let's see here. Oh, we're up to 21 people now, Phil.
They like cancer talk. Yeah.
No wonder I can't get young people to listen to this program. I have no youth appeal. Not with people calling up saying, well, my prostate cancer.
Well, yeah. Let me ask you something. If you did have young people, what do they buy? If you had advertising and you had a demographic like you had in San Francisco, which was 18 to 35, you were the king of 18 to 35. But what do they buy? What advertisers?
The younger advertisers, younger demographics are in broadcasting and everything else considered the most coveted.
Really?
Oh yeah, no, not the old people. See, here's the reason they think that they don't want that old people are not a good demographic, is that when you, as an older person, you're already set in your ways about the products you buy. So why waste their time spending money trying to get you when they can go get some young person and get them hooked on Coca-Cola or get them hooked on?
Yeah, they don't know any better.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
I never considered that because in my business, my number one demographic is women 55 to 65. That's who buys floor covering.
Yeah. Did you ever score with any of the women who came into you to have you lay carpet?
I don't like to kiss and tell, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Because somebody who's asking you to lay their carpet is asking for it.
Yeah, exactly. That's one way to interpret it.
Yeah. Can you make my carpets match the drapes, please?
I don't think so. Not the ones that went out with me.
Yeah.
But this. You want to talk about Twitter?
No, I'd rather talk about what happened when you were trying to lay carpet and some woman was like coming on to you.
A lot of times it was afterwards. just well, it wasn't that many times. Trust me. I got laid more at Camel.
How many times?
At least 4 or 5.
Oh, well, that's a lot.
Well,
That's a lot.
I honestly, I got laid more at Camel.
I mean, I got into the radio business for the sex and for the records, free records, and I have one hell of a record collection.
Yeah, you still? No, I thought you got rid of them.
I still my records I got rid of. Yeah, the actual LPs I got rid of, except the comedy LPs. I still have the comedy LPs. They must be worth something. But
well, vinyl is coming back, but I can't imagine. You see, I haven't listened to vinyl in many years, and I can't imagine the quality of a vinyl record could even come close to the clean digital signal that you.
People who are into vinyl say vinyl is much better than digital because it has a dynamic range that digital doesn't. Digital is kind of flat. I mean, you get all the basses and things like that, but basically it's a flat signal. Digital had this non-digital analog. Had a much better quality, most people say, and there are people who swear by vinyl and have turntables and everything and listen to music that way.
Well, there was an album that I had as a kid that I loaned to a friend and never got back.
Of course,
and I bought another one, but
and so those were the only 2 albums you ever bought, huh?
Yeah, the rest of them I got for free. It said, DJ copy or promotional use only.
Yeah.
But so I looked around. I started looking at turntables, and then I said to myself, I don't need a turntable. I'm not going to listen to this album. I'm just going to maybe frame it because I like the cover. And I bought it when I was 13 years old originally. And I loaned it to you.
What?
The album.
What album was it?
Napoleon the 14th. They're coming to take me away.
Why would I have taken it from you? I already had a copy of that.
Your copy was my copy.
Oh, is that my copy?
No, this is my copy. The copy you had was my copy originally that I bought when I was 13.
And then I gave that back to you.
No, you never gave it back to me.
Then how'd you get it back?
I bought one for $112 on eBay.
Oh, well, I don't remember having that one.
Well, you didn't have this one. I just paid $112 for it.
I think I got that one when they put it out and they were promoting it.
No. You said, hey, I never had the album. There's some
if we're going to argue about this, Phil.
All right.
That's the end of this friendship. Yeah. Well, what did you quit being friends over? Oh, Napoleon the 14th album.
I didn't. I loaned it to you, and I never got it back, and it wasn't your fault.
That was the stupidest record, by the way, that ever came out.
Yes,
and it was a massive hit.
Yeah, it was #1 in July of 1967 on WMCA.
They're coming to take me away, haha. They're coming to take me away, haha.
You know what knocked it off out of the #1 spot?
What?
Wild Thing.
Another stupid song.
Wild Thing, you make my heart
sing. You make everything groovy. Wild Thing.
Yeah. Well, the Coming to Take Me Away, haha, had other hits like I'm in Love with My Little Red Tricycle and
none of them were hits. None of those were hits.
Well, now it goes like this. Remember when you ran away and I got on my knees and begged you not to leave because I go berserk? Well, you left me anyhow. Yeah, it's.
You actually remember the lyrics to that thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, when you're 13 years old, that's the kind of stupid stuff you do.
Mm-hmm. So, what's been floating your boat news-wise?
Well, I am kind of.
Here's Phil with the news. Don't believe any of it. What? Go ahead.
Also, that thing that Browning did, Jim Browning, the drinking game. Mm-hmm. A number of those things are coming to fruition, but so maybe. Anyway, the Twitter thing is kind of interesting. Here it is, the richest guy in the world And we don't even really know his politics. Everybody's up in arms at Twitter.
They don't
People
know his
are crying.
politics. Don't know his
No,
politics.
they don't know his politics. He's a libertarian, we think. I think he's when it comes to this, he really wants open discussion, and the left has sort of pushed the right out of social media and media in general, so that 50.
Well, I mean, media in general. I mean, most of the biggest internet, not internet, but cable news outfits are right wing.
Yes, but
there's no lack of right wing there.
There's half the country that doesn't listen to any right wing media. So what happens is, just like on your Monday show, everybody is in lockstep, and they all sort of.
I don't keep right wingers off this show. They just choose not to call. That's the problem. Well, and part of that. Wait a minute. Part of that problem is what has become the zeitgeist, has become the tone of the times, and that is that you have a Fox that plays to the right wing, you have MSNBC that plays to the left wing, so that when I'm trying to say, okay, I've got a forum here, anybody is allowed on it, anybody is allowed to state their opinion on it, and you know that to be true because you're here, you've been here for a long time. And Patrick, who doesn't call the show that often, Patrick was another Republican, conservative, who I loved having on the show, but what happens is the right wingers go, I don't want to call that show because there are lefties on there,
Actually, I've asked people to call, and they say that they don't, just like the left doesn't want the resistance from the right. Mm-hmm. Well, those people on the right don't want the resistance from the people on the left, and they just don't want to put themselves in that position, the position that I don't mind because I'm an idiot and I call. But as far as most of these right-wing people. And I've asked. I have a friend, Stoney. I have another friend of mine, Conrad, who recently passed away. Very conservative.
Well, then he should call, because only people who call this program are dead people. So.
Dead people, right. So, but anyway, he said, oh, no, I'm not going to call. They don't seem to want to be put in that position. And my friend Conrad was a very intelligent guy. He was on the Johnny Carson show. He was on a lot of things, and he in media. And I couldn't get him. He was in several movies, but he said, no, I'm not going to call. He talked to me, but
some people just don't want to call a podcast. That's all. That's understandable too. If I weren't doing this, I wouldn't call one.
Why not?
Why? No, because I don't care enough to.
This is the way people communicate, and now, this is the medium that this is the talk medium. I mean, you can't call a talk show, whether it's on TV or radio, and get this kind of interaction, whether it be right or left. I mean, you can't. What shows have this that don't just limit it to a couple of callers where you take all comers? And look at your talent that you're able to have these kinds of discussions and be open. Whereas on Twitter, the current staff there really doesn't want the right to expose their.
Oh, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true.
Well,
no, I don't think that's true. I think that what happened is there's been a lot of pushback against Twitter, against Facebook, against even YouTube, that the people are being allowed to spread general mistruths. Right. And so they felt they had to do something to fight against that, to keep these people off their back. Now, you're going to be surprised when I tell you that, like, for instance, I have Marjorie going, oh, Elon Musk is going to let Trump back on Twitter. And my answer to her was, so what?
Trump said he didn't want to get back on Twitter.
Forget about that for a second. Yeah. I just said, right. So what? You know, I mean, come on. I mean, everybody knows that they have to take everything that Trump tweets with a grain of salt. I think even you do.
Some
If
things.
you were to be honest
Yeah.
about it. Well, let me
Well,
finish. Let me finish.
okay.
And then quite frankly, I don't care whether he's back on Twitter or not. To begin with, I don't even look at tweets. And secondly, one of the things that Musk is thinking of doing, since he now is the only owner of Twitter, it's not going to be it's not going to be on the open market for buying
That the
stock.
verified.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I think that's a genius.
No, he's paying $44 million.
Oh no. That's
To be the
That's not
only,
what I was
to be not being the only, to be the only stockholder in,
right.
it's going private is what it's
Yes.
doing. Okay,
Oh.
and he said that what he may do in order to, make it worth his time and his money is to start charging a subscription to Twitter.
Well, I didn't hear that, but what I
Yeah.
did hear him say
No, he did say.
was,
Yeah.
well, this is what he said, and I thought it was genius. That you know how you have these bots and these other things that are placing information that is really disinformation. He said that he was going to make sure that everybody that was on Twitter was human and was a verified human and not a bot.
Right.
And I think a lot of the misinformation we're getting is being placed there, whether it's the left trying to make the right look bad or the right trying to make the left look bad. But and they're stirring the pot, and I think a lot of that was computer generated bots. And I think it's genius on Musk's part to say, look, if you're going to be on this platform, you got to be a person.
Well, let me also say that he, I think, feels as, and I've said this often myself on this show, because I don't bar people from this show because of their opinion. I never have, and I never will. I will only get rid of them or bar them if they're annoying if they obstruct the ebb and flow of the show. Okay.
Yeah, if they're there to create havoc.
If they create a persona that, and you were guilty of this occasionally in the past, of hijacking the show is my term for it, but never for opinion. And my feeling was that even though if you're going to have an open forum, you have an open forum. And the free speech, and I've said this often, you've heard me say it, free speech is an absolute. Right?
Well, that's why I think that
it does not have exceptions. And now let me finish. And that's exactly what Elon Musk said the other day. He said, I've always believed that free speech is absolute. And if you say you're going to have something open to everybody as an expression of free speech, then you have to bite the bullet and let everybody on.
Right. Now, you don't yell fire in a crowded theater. But on the other hand, if you have an opinion that is that differs from someone else's opinion, you just can't silence
he
them.
said he would probably censor stuff that went in contradiction to federal and local laws.
Or if people attacked other people. I don't think
all I'm saying is that I think he feels that it has been it put itself out there as being an open forum, and it had become less of an open forum. And I would agree. I do. I don't care if Trump's on there. Because I don't look at Twitter anyway, so I don't give a crap.
When you look at the Fox commentators, almost every one of them has been banned from Twitter and Facebook.
No, which one?
Every one of them.
Who?
The ones in the morning.
No, they haven't been.
Yeah, they said it this morning.
No, they haven't been.
And now maybe they're back on, but they haven't.
They haven't been censored. Even Hannity has not been banned. Tucker Carlson has not been banned. However, they do watch them closely, and whenever they might say something that looks like it's an absolute untruth, they will make a notation.
That's part of it.
That saying you should probably take this whole thing with a grain of salt.
Right.
Yeah, which I think is fair. I think that's fair and responsible.
But do they do it to the people on the left?
I'm sure they would.
I don't think so.
I'm sure if I came out with some heavy lefty opinion that was untrue,
Yeah.
They would do that. to me.
Okay, the people that I'm talking about had made some comments. One of them was that Harris Faulkner.
Oh,
Uh,
that cunt.
I think she's pretty reasonable, and
Oh yeah. Oh
she looks
yeah.
good
Oh
for her
yeah.
age.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, anyway, she said that she was taken down because she made some comments about Hunter Biden's laptop, and also the New York is it the New York Post?
Yeah, but she was her tweet was taken down. She was not taken down.
I think she was.
No, she wasn't taken down.
Okay, well, I'll look into that further. But now the New York Post was taken down.
Well, here, look, and then I want to take some calls here, and if you'll stick with me tonight, I'd appreciate it. It's what I said earlier, is that these companies have been under such scrutiny lately for just allowing these things to go through that they're censoring themselves in order to prevent that kind of what do you call it, flashback or slapback. They're trying to protect themselves, okay? And I think what's wrong is them having to feel they should protect themselves. I think they should have common carrier status. If they're asking people to have a page on Facebook, excuse me, folks, I have the greps.
Is that Section 230? Is that what the...
No. You have... there are certain things that have common carrier status. One of them was that they wanted in New York was for what do you call it? Public access.
Well, you did that.
Yeah, to be that way. Common carrier status would mean that they're not responsible for. They're only responsible for how they administer it and so on, but they're not responsible on how somebody uses it. In other words, Facebook should not be responsible for how people use their Facebook page because they have no real control over that and shouldn't have to. The only thing they should care about is that what?
They are controlling. I got a 29-day.
Of course, Phil, because these companies feel the only way they can keep the doors open and not have the government on their ass, and both from the right and the left, is to just be very safe. Okay.
Yeah, I posted a picture of a pill bottle that said Clorox on it, and it was for COVID things. It was a joke, Mm-hmm. And they said that was misinformation, and for 29 days I wasn't allowed to do two things, which I don't remember what they were. But.
Listen, I'll tell you what drives me crazy on YouTube. I have one commercial here that has some music behind it, and every time I play that commercial, they say, you're going to have to share your money with the owner of that song. And then I write them and tell them, hey, that song I pay for. And the
public access.
And then next thing I know,
public domain.
No, it's not public domain.
Oh, you have that service where you pay $100 or $200.
Yeah, and
you get video clips and audio clips.
And so every time I play that spot, they'd say, oh, and then I get another message saying, oh, I've been cleared, you're okay. Every single time. And they didn't notice it once when it happened. They just went, oh, well, let's make a little mark here. Anytime he plays that song, he owns it. Okay?
Right.
So, I mean, that's how these companies run, and they're not particularly good at what they do that way. But anyway, listen, let me...
Bring them on in.
Let me see
Take
here.
my name down.
Let me see here. Let me take your name off there, and then let me bring in all these people that all have something they want to say. We got Charlie Wallace. Oh, we got Scott Boddicker.
Yeah.
Hi, Scott. How you doing, Scott?
He called.
And we got Kevin, and we got Alan, and we got Jeff, and we've got Charlie. Oh, wow. Hey. Hello, guys. How are you?
Good.
Oh, I shouldn't say guys because that's considered gender specific.
How about friends and fellow unions?
No, you're just not supposed to say guys.
Phil, you told me the album that you lent Alex was Mary Poppins.
It was that too.
Oh, boy. Anyway, so
I've got Mary Poppins. What's wrong with Mary Poppins?
Nothing wrong with Mary Poppins.
Can you sing it?
What?
Both of them.
Yeah, Mary Poppins, Mary Poppins, Mary
No,
Poppins,
that's not it.
Mary
I don't-
Poppins. What?
And on your Phil, on your thing with Elon Musk on ABC News Monday night, they interviewed Elon Musk and said, "Would you let Donald Trump back on?" They said, "We'll let anybody on, including Donald Trump, but they're going to watch people and fact check them."
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's reasonable.
I mean, I have, you know, I always had a question about whether Donald Trump should have been removed from Twitter. Only because as long as you say, okay, this has not been fact checked or it may be wrong or whatever, and you make that comment on it, I think you're keeping it in tow. I think you're making an unreasonable decision not to let somebody on when you say this is an open forum.
How did they fact check the original town square? You know, when in the 1700s, when you had the guy.
Well, if they
who
didn't
stood
like
on-
what you said, they took you to the town square and hung you. Is what happened. So,
They had a pistol.
yeah.
But you know that's basically what Elon Musk is trying to create. Is that same?
No,
you know-
I to begin with, I do think he's probably gonna create a subscription model for Twitter, and then nobody will be on it. You know, nobody wants.
I don't know. He did pretty well with this first venture. Everybody knows it. PayPal.
But we're not talking about PayPal. Was something that did he buy into PayPal or did PayPal
he was
already
one of the
exist?
creators.
He was one of the
Yeah,
creators.
yeah. So I mean, he created that from the beginning. Here we're talking about something that already exists.
Right.
But this guy took $120 million payout from PayPal when he sold it.
120 billion, I think.
No, 120 million.
Million, that was all.
And now he's worth 240 billion less what he spent on Twitter.
And he still doesn't shop at Carpet One. Huh.
Yeah, but a lot of women who want to have sex with Phil do, and that certainly is a reason to go to Carpet
At
One.
least in the day. They were there.
Oh, you haven't seen the pictures of him in the day.
He saw me in the day.
Yeah,
He just can't remember.
Thank God, huh?
Yeah, you know, I vaguely remember you, Phil. I vaguely remember you.
Vaguely.
Vaguely. But I mean, what do you guys think of Donald Trump perhaps going back on Twitter? Does that bother you at all?
I don't have Twitter, so
I don't use Twitter.
Yeah.
I got off of Twitter when they threw Donald Trump off. The only reason I got onto Twitter was to see his tweets.
Really?
and-
So you
yeah,
wanted
they
to
threw
know
him
what
off.
your marching orders were every day?
Absolutely. Veil your papers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just, you know, I found him. You know, I mean, I just, you know, people are just too fearful of Donald Trump, you know, and, you know,
But
everybody.
he almost destroyed our democracy.
Well, yes, but they're too fearful of him. Like, oh, he's coming back. He's going to run again, and there's no guarantee he's going to be the nominee. You know,
I don't think he could be.
and I think DeSantis will take it.
Well, it's
Oh,
early.
It's too early. Sometimes somebody that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
You know.
DeSantis could die in between now and then.
I mean,
hopefully.
this early in the game, had you said a guy by the name of Barack Obama was going to be president of the United States, you go, Barack who? You know,
Tucker
so,
Carlson's going to be the nominee for the Republicans.
oh,
Is
really?
he American? You know, I've heard stories that Elon Musk, I guess his parents were from South Africa, and didn't they go to Canada and then he came to the States? And so they were saying, oh, he's a product of apartheid. And these are the things that they're saying to try to put fear into people.
You know,
about
I'll
that.
tell you, my only real association to Musk is my love of the space program, my love of the exploration of space, and the fact that this guy has done an amazing thing. I mean, he's taken a dead idea, that of space exploration, and put it back in the forefront. And it made it to become a possibility, and I admire him for that. You know,
He's not adding to space junk. He's recovering it.
well, what I did is I watched this documentary on him over the weekend, or about SpaceX and their first flight to get a person up on those two people up on the space station, and just his whole history. And he said when he went into the whole thing with SpaceX, we're going to try 3 times, and if we can't do it by the 3rd time, I haven't got enough money left to put into this. Okay. And they sent up 3 of them, and they all crashed, every last one of them. And he said, okay, I'm going to take it out of my own pocket, I'm going to do it, but we're going to try one more time. In other words, he bet the ranch, bet the farm, I guess is the term, bet the farm that 4th one was going to work, and it worked. And he got $1.5 billion from NASA to continue his work. And that's what got the whole thing with SpaceX rolling. Well, I see that kind of thing as a very brave financial move in a very questionable technology. And I just, I admire him for that. And I admire him for the fact that I've always been very pissed off that when we went to the moon, I said, well, Mars is next, and a colony on the moon is next. And none of that happened. And he made a point. He said, the Roman Empire built a lot of stuff, and then after a while, they didn't do it anymore, and they forgot how to build aqueducts. And then he said, then so-and-so did something, and I can't remember who it was, and they forgot to do how to do that anymore. And then when finally we sent man to the moon, brought him back, and then never did it again and forgot how to do that. He said, what I'm trying to do is to try and remember what we did and to do it.
We had a goal, and we had some leaders like Kennedy that made a goal for our nation to get a man on the moon. And I think that if it was anyone else, it wouldn't have happened. Somebody had posted today a saying that Kennedy had, which was, in those years, people would say,
well, you got to remember, Phil, it wasn't just Kennedy. Kennedy got killed. Kennedy made that speech, I think, in 62, and in 63 he got shot. It was, give credit to Johnson for continuing programs.
Johnson continued a lot of the things.
Yeah.
But Kennedy said that think not of what you can think of what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. And this is what the guy posted. And he says, we don't see any of that anymore. And I said, my comment was, people now say, what's in it for me? With them, they call it, what's in it for me? Mm-hmm. And that's what our current population and generation is more interested in that than, what Kennedy had said.
Okay.
You're right, Phil. Damn it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Did I hear Kevin say that?
Wait, we can't drink. You only drink when he's wrong.
Well,
I
must be wrong if I'm right.
I may get dehydrated tonight.
No.
Nice.
Damn it. Stop it, Phil.
Yes, sir, Phil.
Yeah, you're right, Phil. But the fact is that we forget how to do all these, and what pissed me off is we never, after the moon, we didn't do anything. We became NASA shipping and hauling, and that was about it.
But we had the space station.
Well, no, wait,
the satellite technology.
To begin with, most of the time, that wasn't our space station.
It was
the International Space Station.
He had one called
Skylab, but we got rid of that and we went with the International Space Station.
Now, did the Russians say that they were going to throw the Americans off of the space station and they weren't going to transport them? And Elon Musk actually stepped up and said, I'll go get them.
I'll go get them if need be. Yeah. So, but it became NASA shipping and hauling to the space station, and that was about it. That's all we did with it for the next 30 years. And what pissed me off is I felt that within my lifetime I'd see us land on Mars. And apparently I'm not going to, because people just, they all got this thing, which I always hated, which was, we have more problems here on Earth we got to take care of.
We got a
Well,
rover.
one of them is happening right now, and it's the fact that this planet is now starting to kick us off of it. Okay.
Well, we have a rover. We put something onto Mars, and it's taking pictures, and it's amazing. And it's taking samples.
Nothing like having a human being down there doing it. You know, there's nothing like having human beings on the moon, on Mars, on these planets, working there. It's different than having a little robot running around.
Would you want to put a human at risk in that situation?
You're not putting him at risk. You're not
understood what was going on there.
What's to understand what's going on there? We've known for years what Mars is comprised of. Now we're just simply doing experiments, but we could do them faster and better if we were there.
Yeah.
Am I right, Charlie? Come on, you're the space guy. You agree with me on that one?
Yes, I do.
They've always said in space exploration, there's nothing like having a human being there.
But don't you have to walk before you could run?
This isn't walking before you run. This is like sending a robot down to do the work for you.
It's beginning. I mean, they're taking samples. They want to see if there's any disease or things that
we know there's no disease there, Phil.
Yeah.
We know everything.
How do
We know everything we really need to know about Mars, except some of the early parts of its history, whether it contained water, whether those canals were as a result of water, and whether there's still snow caps up in the north, which might be able to be used for water. But that's, we know pretty much everything we need to know about Mars. We've been going there for, how long have we been going there, Charlie?
Mars, well, when the first land, it's like in the
1960 something. My favorite Martian.
No, but when we've been going to Mars for the last, what, 30?
Like Mariner 4 or whatever, the first time we went to Mars.
Was it Mariner 4? Let me look
Something
it up.
like that.
Let me look it up here. And
I can
okay, Google Mariner 4 and tell me what year that was. But, we've been doing this for a long time, and we're doing the best we can with robots, but we really want to get people there. And Musk has created, he's got this, the big rocket now that he's ready to fire. And that's the one that's going to go to the moon, and that's going to be big enough that they're going to be able to live in it, okay, while it's there. I mean, you got to realize, I don't know if you've ever seen the lunar lander. You have to go to the Smithsonian, I think, to see it today.
Doesn't it look like the Mars rover?
People say it's a tin shack, is what it is. It was hardly anything. This thing is
a capsule. It was a capsule, right?
No, it wasn't a capsule.
That
like
would then join up with the rocket.
No, but it was a square thing, and and it goes up and then it hooks into the rocket, and then they go inside and then they jettison it because why take it back with you? Yes, Charlie.
Mariner 4 was launched to Mars in November 1964.
1964?
Yeah, it got to the planet in 1965. So that's the first time we went.
So that's how many years ago?
1965. That's almost 60 years ago. 57 years.
Okay.
57 years.
So
ago.
you figure we've been going to Mars enough, Phil?
No, I'm not going.
I'd go in a second.
Really?
Go in a heartbeat. Yeah. Go in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And I trust Elon Musk to get me there. But no, what they're going to do is they have this big giant rocket. I can't remember. They have a new one. I forget what it's called now. Maybe you know, Charlie. Maybe you know, Scott. Somebody here knows. But it's the big one that they're going to send up. And it's going to be able to hold quite a few people. And it's going to be quite large inside. And they're going to shoot it up, and it's only going to go into orbit around the Earth. And then in orbit, there will be a fuel tanker that it will hook up to, and because they would have used up most of their fuel taking off. And
how come he doesn't use a plug-in well, not hybrid, the car type thing? He sent up his car, that Lotus-looking car. It was on the top of the thing, on the top of the rocket. Didn't that go to Mars?
No.
Where do you send that?
It's
the
probably-
far out
That
space?
sounds so stupid.
It's going
Sounds
to
send it the far out of space.
it's going to the edge of our solar system. Yeah,
Space junk.
yeah, space junk. But what was I going to say?
Way to recycle those batteries.
No,
You're
no.
talking about it refueling.
Oh yeah.
They could-
Then it's
they
going to
could
suck up all the fuel out of that thing, which is going to be enough to get it to Mars and get it to land on Mars and to take off from Mars and to come back. So, and if that isn't enough, they'll probably just take another tanker and send it off to Mars, so that when they get back into orbit from Mars, they can
Refuel.
refuel. Yeah. So I mean, he's got it all planned. He knows that. He says by 2004 we should be on the moon and be starting a colony there.
2004 is come and gone.
No, 2014. If 2024. Excuse me.
24, yeah.
Excuse me. I'm getting old. What year is this? Is this 1846?
I don't know anymore.
No, but
So are they gonna send up people on the first time? Probably not. Probably a monkey or
no, they're
a
going to send up.
dog
They're
or
going to send up.
Donald
they're
Trump
gonna,
and a monkey
they're
or
going to
something.
send up human beings. What?
Oh, we know. We
By
have
the way, here's an interesting little fact I found out in this documentary. You know, they then sent up a second rocket to the space station where people went and stayed for 6 months. And this time they sent 4 people up. Okay? Do you know who one of those people was? The 2 astronauts he sent up originally both married other astronauts. Were married to other astronauts in the astronaut program. The woman who went up on that trip of 4 was the wife of one of the 2 astronauts that went up the first time. It's nice family business to be in, huh?
Yeah.
You know? And
Maybe they should send up the husband that the Christy McCullough, the teacher that was on the one
Blow
that blew up.
one.
Yeah.
why would you do
Anybody
that?
remember seeing that?
Yeah.
I do.
Yes.
Me
I do.
too.
Yeah. It was
Many
pretty
times.
horrific. I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, that set space travel back a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We to begin with, when we had that problem on the launch pad with the fire, that set us off back a year at least, 2 years, while they figured out what caused that. And then when you had the Challenger, it was another couple of years, and then we had that other one in which it was returning to back from
That 13 or 11? Or,
yeah.
Yeah.
We had that, but nobody died with that one. He's talking about when it blew up, re-entering the Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one was that?
One was Challenger and the other one was
Challenger.
Well, Challenger was
Challenger was on the way.
Challenger
was-
blew up, and the other one was something
takeoff.
else.
Yeah, the Challenger was on takeoff.
Yes,
Okay, and the other one was like, I don't know, it's Columbia or whatever. But one of them,
Columbia. I think you're right,
one of
Charlie.
them blew up because the pieces of that actually fell around Austin and Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pieces of that.
wiped out about 16 Republicans.
Years ago, when I first was into computers, somebody put out a program for the Mac, which was running a space shuttle, piloting a space shuttle. It was much like a flight simulator, but for a space shuttle.
Yeah.
And the space shuttle was the Challenger.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, and my joke used to be, well, I have this. You should show it to people. And they go, wow. They stopped making that one fast. I said, it works great, except halfway through it explodes. My computer just gets trashed. But that was all those things set us back. But we kept going just so we could go to the space station and deliver toilets. I don't know. We did nothing on all that time. And then we stopped the shuttle program.
Yeah.
Right?
Obama stopped
So
the
then
shuttle
we had to
program.
start paying the Russians, what about, how many millions per astronaut?
Yeah, send their astronauts up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did Obama feel that he didn't want to fund NASA any longer?
Wasn't that you didn't want to
That
fund
wasn't
this?
Obama. That was the Republican Congress.
No, it was Obama that stopped funding.
No, it wasn't. He couldn't get funding through the Republican Congress.
Oh.
Well, yes, Phil. Believe Charlie. He knows what he's talking about. I looked. I was on Charlie's webpage the other day, or his Facebook page. I looked at his resume. Don't ever challenge Charlie.
He's got a degree in astrophysics.
Yeah. So he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I get the third degree all the time.
Yeah. But it was, it's been it's pissed me off because we waited so long. But maybe waiting this long has been a good thing, because with private industry taking it over, we're finally kickstarting this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's finally somebody saying, well, there's money in this for us. Let's do it.
Has Bezos done anything else with?
No, he's just got his little thrill rides. He may as well.
Yeah,
he may as well take that rocket down to a carnival and give the rides there. Because he's not doing anything with it. That's not space travel he's doing. He's taking people up to the edge of space.
Atmosphere.
Well, not atmosphere, further than that.
60 miles.
60 miles, where all of a sudden you hit weightlessness, lets you be weightless for about 3 minutes, and then comes back. Now, is that space travel, or is that just a thrill ride?
At my weight, it'd be a pleasure.
That could replace the Garlic Festival in Gilroy.
Yeah. And what's even worse is Branson's. Branson's is just, it's a kind of like a,
It's a hot air balloon.
It just goes up and
That's Virgin Galactica, whatever it is.
Yeah, Galactic. I mean, it's not.
You're
It's
just
not
pissed
space
because it's got your name in there.
Space
Virgin.
travel is when they put those 4 people in there and they send them up to the space station for 6 months. And by the way, all their outfits, their spacesuits, those aren't really functioning spacesuits. Correct me if I'm wrong, Charlie. They're not really functioning spacesuits in that they don't create an atmosphere in the spacesuit. They do feed it oxygen with the helmet on, but that's about it. But the outfits, if you notice them, were designed by a Hollywood designer who designed spacesuits for science fiction movies. Yep.
So,
I think they're kind of cool too. I would love one of those. They should sell them on the SpaceX site. What?
Is that what they used on the Enterprise? They were just left over.
Right. I was just watching a movie tonight for a moment or two on TCM, starring Zsa Zsa Gabor, called Queen of Outer Space. I don't know if anybody remembers this picture, but it's one of the more memorable sci-fi pictures about about 3 astronauts who go to Mars or to Venus, and they don't seem to mind that the temperature on Venus is 875 degrees, but let's not even argue about that.
That's okay, darling.
But when they get there, they meet Amazons who live on this planet, and the leader is played by Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Who looked pretty good.
Huh? What?
Who looked pretty good.
She looked spectacular back then. But the best part is that it was such a cheap production. They borrowed all their costumes and sets from other companies, and they're all wearing the same outfits everybody wore in Forbidden Planet.
I was watching her sister on the Green Acres documentary they had on YouTube.
Yeah, Ava.
Yeah. She wasn't bad looking either.
No.
Who was their mother?
I don't know.
Magda?
That's correct. You got it, Charlie.
I still got it.
And there was there was another sister.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember her name.
Eva.
Eva?
No, we already said Eva.
No, Ava.
Oh, Ava, yeah.
Ava was the other one, but there's a third one. There's a third sister, third Gabor sister.
Oh, yeah. Zsa Zsa, Ava,
and Ringo, I think.
She was from Hungary, right?
Yeah, they were from Hungary. Yeah.
All the Gabors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what happened to that other sister. They never talked about her much.
It was like Harpo.
No, Magda was the mother.
Yeah.
Oh, Zsa Zsa, Eva.
Ava.
Eva or Ava?
Ava, they pronounced it, yeah.
And it might be
Oh,
how.
It's spelled Eva, but I think
Okay.
they always pronounced it Ava.
Maybe the other one's Eva. Wait, hold on a second. Let me just. I'll look it up.
That's what I'm doing.
You have it up,
I think
Scott?
there's only two. Oh, no, it says three sisters.
No, there's three.
Mhm.
Eva, Magna,
Magda's the mother.
and Jaja.
No, it's not.
No, I don't think
Magda's
so.
the other sister.
I don't think so.
First
No, I
one
think
Phil's right.
Magna's the other one.
later
Oh,
to Magna.
okay.
Magna was,
Okay, but the mom was pretty.
was a mom.
Not
Magna-
Parents is Jolie and Vimos. Jolie Gabor and Vimos Gabor are the
Okay.
parents.
I remember
okay,
that.
all right.
And the sisters are
Ava
Eva, Magna,
and Jaja.
and Jaja.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
What kind of a fucking name is Jaja? Does anybody here know anybody named Jaja?
Oh,
Ooh,
Oh.
Does anybody know anybody named Magna?
Magda.
Magma.
Right, Magna.
Magma.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Make America Great Again.
It is.
very good.
No, it's Make
America great. Don't again.
No,
be
Make
again.
America mediocre again. Magda.
Make America great. Dumber? No,
Oh boy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I give up.
Yeah. I
so
what?
Jaja wasn't a nickname. That was her actual name, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just figured it was a nickname.
I have a friend. Please, if you know who I'm talking about, don't say it. Okay, but I do have somebody I know who's Russian and has relatives back in Russia and friends back in Russia and keeps talking to them all the time. Honestly believes that the Ukraine is completely filled with nothing but Nazis. That the government there is a Nazi-run government. And that the films that we see here, no civilian has been hurt in that war over there. That's all propaganda from Ukraine and films they have made up.
Tucker Carlson says that nobody's been hurt. It's all fake. It's got to be real.
That was fake, and it was fact checked, and he didn't say that.
You know, Snipes or Snoop,
Yeah, but,
whoever said that he did.
Snopes.
Nope.
Alex
Whatever
Jones
it's
did
called.
say that those kids at Sandy Hook never got killed.
Yep.
Well,
They were all
he's
Christ
going to have to pay for that. Even the bankruptcy doesn't seem to be saving him.
Good.
Nothing's going to be saving him, and I'll tell you, if you're gonna shut somebody up, that's a good way of doing it. You know?
Bankrupt him?
Yeah.
Well, a good propaganda program will work if you do it right. And
Yeah.
he seems to be doing it right. Look
What-
what Hitler did. I mean, I've been watching the rise of the Nazis, and look what he did. I
Well,
mean,
look at Putin, the lies that are being spread over there.
that's what I mean.
and
He's
this-
doing exactly what
people
Hitler did. He's
people in Russia, for the
closing
most
off all
part,
outside communications. He's got the right people there
he has,
pushing all the inside communications, and
he
he's
has
got them
unprecedented support. By the way, we might add, Putin.
Pardon?
Putin has unprecedented support.
Yeah.
You
How
know.
come some of his soldiers are laying their arms down and surrendering?
Well,
and
because
doing-
they're there.
Yeah.
They're
They're
seeing
there and
what's
they
going
see
on.
what's really happening.
Yeah, they're outside. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to buy.
As were the German
They're
soldiers
not
as
going to
well.
buy Putin saying we're winning that war over there. You know, as a matter of fact, what was it? Who our Secretary of State
Blinken?
Lincoln and his the Secretary of Defense Nod
Lloyd,
Boyd
Lloyd-
Nod. So Blinken
No,
and Nod.
Lloyd. I forget his last name.
It's Blink. I won't try that joke again.
Lincoln's the Secretary of
He,
State.
he doesn't get jokes because he's too busy talking to
Lincoln and
himself.
Nod. I guess.
Uh,
Took me a while too.
Hey, you know, I was the part of the class that made the top half possible, the bottom half.
Yes, right, exactly. They say that in gay sex too.
Oh!
Are you a bottom?
The
That's
tops
the-
make
that would
the
be
bottom
the
possible.
receiver.
Yeah. Anyway, but you know, I mean, I kept saying to myself, well, how do these people believe that in Russia? But then I realized that if you have an absence of news and of information, and that's all that's being fed to you, then you believe that to be true because that's happening within your bubble. And it's not that you're stupid or anything else. You're just not being given any other information to feed into your decision making on what's right and what's wrong and what's happening and what's not happening.
And if you don't agree, they kill you.
Over again.
And that's kind of what was happening here. At least Trump was trying to do, was trying to pass nothing but false narratives about himself. Right. I mean, you know what I love is this guy McCarthy, Kevin McCarthy. What a piece of crap this guy is. This is a guy who they have a recording of him basically saying, I think Trump is wrong. I think we probably should ask him to leave office before his term is over. And then when he's confronted with it, McCarthy says, I never said that. And then they play the recording and he goes, well, he doesn't know what to say.
They asked Trump about what McCarthy said. And Trump just kind of, said, "Hey, it was, no big deal."
Well, because McCarthy's his toady now, But the thing is,
he's not.
The thing is that McCarthy, when confronted with the actual audio of what he said, denies he ever said it.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like Donald Trump when he says it on TV and 15 stations pick him up. He says, I didn't say that.
Right. You remember what Clinton said when he was accused of something, and he said, just deny, stall. That was his way of fighting it off.
Well, he didn't deny. He just said, I did not have sex with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. Now he said,
a blowjob is not sex.
And is a blowjob sex is the question.
That's right.
Always had been in my book.
No, it's only when you're giving.
Not in my book. When somebody
they didn't include blowjobs.
When people would say to me, when somebody I go on a date and I get blown, if I can say that without losing my monetary stuff here on YouTube, my monetization. If they asked me, if somebody blew me on a date and they said, did you fuck her? I go, no. Because I didn't feel I had sex with her, and I didn't feel I had sex with somebody if all I got was a blowjob. Well, I was sexually satisfied. There was no question about that, but I didn't have sex with them.
I think that's a very intimate thing.
No, sex involves penetration.
No, well, penetrate the mouth. That's a very intimate thing.
No.
Now it's coming to you, Alex, where you remember Phil from.
No, that glory hole was you.
Well, I will say I will say I did have sex with Phil. So let's just
get away.
There it is.
Yeah, because quite frankly, he gave lousy blowjobs, and I just, he kept going, ooh.
He's turning red. Look at this.
Wow.
Yeah. But no, I mean, that's why when he said that, I knew exactly what he was saying. He was not eliminating the fact that he may have gotten head out of Monica Lewinsky, but he was saying he didn't have sex. And and by the way, if you ask a woman, did you have sex with the guy, and she gave him a blowjob, women will not say they had sex with the guy.
Oh, they'll say no.
But didn't he penetrate her with a cigar?
There's that story, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But who doesn't like a good who doesn't like a good cigar now and then?
Well, maybe it was his cigar.
But I mean, it is so sad. I think that we even made such a big deal out of that. Because that goes down in history. And you say, well, what did they impeach him for? They go, well, he got a blowjob.
No, he lied. That's what they impeached him.
He lied about what?
What?
The blowjob, I think. Or the sex.
Said he didn't have sex.
So he didn't have sex, and how many guys here will say he didn't have sex? Okay.
I say it's sex.
Yeah.
said
Kevin
he
isn't
had
sure.
sex.
Kevin went,
Only when you're on the receiving end.
Hey,
Right?
if I was lucky enough to get a blowjob, I was happy it was sex.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, that whole incident, if you think about it, how frivolous, what a waste of time it was, you know, and how it ruined one poor woman's life, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very sad what happened to Monica Lewinsky and
And
way
and
she
the
was
dress,
treated in the public eye.
you know, ruined her dress too.
Yeah. What am I
But,
flipping?
the
for?
president decided to lie to everybody.
Yeah.
They all
That was
do.
his strategy.
They all do.
And he didn't become a big president after that. Nobody talked to him for years.
Well, I mean, it was but it was. Boy, is my picture flipping a little bit? A
little.
Yeah, it's glitching.
Not too often.
Yeah, it's glitching. Let me see here.
But in his second term, he got a lot more done when he went a little bit more towards the center and he started working with the other side. He got a lot of things done.
Well, you
Some
can,
of them not so
yes,
bad.
yes, Scott.
You said that Monica Lewinsky's life was ruined.
Well,
by
I
Clinton.
think it was certainly put on hold. You know,
Her net worth is $41 million. I
Yeah,
think you
now.
can get over it.
Daughter. She's what was she the heir to?
No, she wasn't. I think she got it from the books.
I think she made it. I don't know. I don't know who her parents were, but 41 million. I'll get over being ruined.
well, her parent. I used to work for at WMCA, and I worked for a guy named R. Peter Strauss, and R. Peter Strauss was married to Ellen Strauss, and then she died, and guess who he went off and married? Monica Lewinsky's mother.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
And now, didn't they have something to do with Macy's?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Abraham and
Peter-
Strauss. Abraham and Strauss.
Years.
It was Abraham and Strauss, right?
Let me. R. Peter Strauss was part of the family that created Macy's.
Right.
Okay, the
Right.
Strauss family. They also, the grandparents of R. Peter Strauss, died on the Titanic. Remember, in every movie that you've ever seen, they have this couple, and she goes, "I won't go without you," and so they stayed on the boat together and let it go. He went down with
So
the
what you're
ship.
saying is that Clinton came into money.
How does that relate to Trump, Alan?
Were we talking about Trump? We weren't.
Hey, Clinton.
Trump
Clinton.
came into Clinton came into money.
Clinton
That's
came.
good.
Did I say Trump?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You meant Clinton.
Oh, you didn't, but I
Oh, okay.
figured I'd help you.
Said money.
Yeah, Clinton. Yeah, that's good,
Yeah.
Alan.
Once in a while.
Once in a while.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah. Well, you've
Watch
had your
Right
quota.
Twice
You've had your
today.
quota for this year. But anyway, I mean,
Actually, Acosta says that that Monica Lewinsky grew up in Beverly Hills. That she came from money.
Did she?
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Was her father a doctor? And
He was an investor.
Is her mother still alive? Is her mother still alive? Does
I
it
don't know.
say? Does it say anything like that there? You have no idea.
She went to school in St. Monica or Santa Monica.
I know R. Peter Strauss is dead now, I think. Yeah.
She must be from the.
Yeah, but she. I mean, I always felt rather sorry for her because I felt I felt that where were the women's libbers, if you want to use the term, in that time, coming to her defense and saying, here they're vilifying this poor woman because she's a woman, you know.
It was your type.
She was my type. I would have done her. Yeah.
She was very young. Remember, you got to think about
Bill
it.
would have taken sloppy seconds.
24.
I'd have
Well,
few
she was what, 24, something like that?
24.
Yeah. And I always felt very bad for her because I felt that she was being vilified for just, she found this guy attractive and she came on to him. She actually seduced him. Let's be honest about it. It wasn't like he was spending his whole time trying to seduce her. But, she's, what are you laughing
I don't
at?
know.
Jim?
You weigh her and you
I don't
weigh
know
his
about
wife.
that.
I think I'd be doing her.
Well, I mean, all I'm saying is that I think that Clinton, at that time in his life, was starting to go through that midlife time. And here comes this young girl who's hot for him and is seducing him. And he gives into it, probably more easily than he should have. He should have thought twice about it, but he didn't.
I don't know. When you're the most powerful man in the world, he's not the first president.
When he was the governor,
You may be the most powerful man in the world, but you're still one thing. You're a man.
When he was the governor of Arkansas, the troopers used to go and get girls and bring them back. He was a hound dog when he was the governor, and it was well known.
That never came
guy
out
was
till
Uncle
today.
Andrew.
Yeah, and let's talk about Matt Gaetz. Okay. Anyway. Yes, Charlie.
He has a
Yeah, Monica Lewinsky's mother is still alive, and her father is, I guess, still a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
medical doctor. Yeah. So she.
An oncologist. Yeah.
An oncologist, huh?
Yeah, and they're
Not a gynecologist.
and they're Jewish, I believe. It said he was a Jewish from parents were from Germany,
Lewinsky's a
Jewish.
last name.
Yeah.
I think you're right on that.
Yeah. But oncologists do very well. I mean, my oncologist.
We got our money.
Well, my oncologist.
Yeah.
Let's see. They made how much they make on my radiation? They made something like $65,000, and then on my seeds, that was another $45,000. So how much of that did he get?
100,000. Yeah.
Yeah, So
Oh.
it's,
Yeah, but how much did your surgeon or your doctor actually take money at home?
what do you mean?
What percentage of that amount of money did the guy who actually did the work?
Well, part of it was the cost of the hospital for the use of the radiation stuff, but I'm sure he got a nice little piece of money out of it.
They lease that equipment from like General Electric or
It's not
Siemens or whatever, and every time they fire it, they have to pay a certain fee.
Oh, really?
Stuff's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
The radiation was kind of fun because the radiation machine kind of became my pal. Because it would come around, would go, "Nyeh," and then would come around, and I'd go, "Hi there." It would just,
Did you have to fill, Alex? Did you have to fill your bladder completely to try to get it out of the? Yeah, and that was the worst.
Otherwise, the radiation.
well, you
could
had to
burn
do
the
it.
inside of your bladder.
You had to do it 5 days a week for how many weeks? 7 weeks.
7 weeks.
I only had to do
Good
5.
God.
I only had to do 5 episodes of that.
Really? Wow, you got lucky.
And you just go in, you drink a whole bunch of this stuff. You drink so many glasses of this liquid, and then you go in there, and one time I drank too much, and I had to go in the bathroom, and they said, "Would you unfill your bladder a little bit?" And I'm going, now wait a minute, I just drank a whole ton of water.
Yeah.
And you know what happens when you get that in you, how when you finally go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom, and there's no
The
stopping.
radioactive beam passes through your bladder,
but
and an empty bladder is a chance of having the inside lining of your bladder burned. And that's why they want the liquid in there.
Well, there's some other reasons for that too.
No,
But anyway,
there's another reason. It moves your bladder away from the area that's being irradiated.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. But anyway, so I go, oh, okay, I'll go give it a try. And now I'm in the bathroom trying to just let a little of it out, and then I have to rush back and say, "Hurry up, do this." And they look, they go, "Okay, your bladder looks fine." And they went and they wanted me to empty it out and then re-drink the stuff and wait again, and I didn't want to. So
I had to do that once.
yeah, so but
Drink the piss.
No, I had to go, and so I went, and they said, "Oh, you don't have enough left in your bladder, so you got to go back in the waiting room and drink more water."
Well, the radiation they did on me, I think, did a kind of number on me. To this day, I still have like a stinging when I urinate and things like that, which I hear that if I had just done the seeds, that wouldn't have been the case, you know. But he felt I should do both, so, you know. I don't have cancer, but...
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
How many people know people who are presently sick from COVID?
I had 2 customers. I saw them earlier last week or late last week. I got a phone call today. Customer said both she and her husband tested positive for COVID.
And had they taken the medication?
They took the test and they're just, they said, you know, they don't feel bad or anything.
Yeah.
They've all.
If you start feeling anything, then you should also take this second thing, these pills now that you take.
Is that out?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They said that they were going to send them free to everybody to
No.
have them on hand.
No. You have to go to a doctor.
You got to test positive for COVID before you.
No. There's some other ones that I just heard about.
No, you have to have your doctor prescribe them to you.
Right.
And you have to do it within 5 days of coming down with the sickness part.
They're approved by the FDA, EAU, emergency EUA. Sorry, emergency use authorization.
Yeah, but it supposedly with that you're good to go.
And there's something, the remdesivir and
Remdesivir. I don't think that's even being used anymore.
no, they said that's
They just approved it actually.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
did?
like
For
kids.
kids. For
okay.
kids. Yeah.
You know.
all this talk about peeing. I got to go pee, but I guess I can.
A couple more minutes.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, so
Easy for you to say.
yeah.
Think of flowing rivers.
But the thing I loved about the radiation and also in a way about the seeds was just the science fiction nature of it all. You know, just being under this machine, I didn't feel anything when they did the radiation. Didn't feel anything, but it just went by. And they say, okay, now they did a lot of tests and moving and run throughs, and the doctor would look and see where he wanted to radiate and so on and so forth. And they said, okay, we're going to do it now. And 1 minute later, 2 minutes later, it was over with. You know, and then I came by again and went, hi, how you doing, pal? You know. But it was
Well, if it's done right, you don't feel it, but your system absorbs it, and so systemically, you can have side effects from it.
Oh, well, you have side effects from this after the fact. My doctor said something to me when I went in for my thing the other day. He, did the digital thing, and I said, well, how is it? He said, well, they pretty well made that flat. You've got a flat prostate now.
Means you don't have any bumps from the cancer.
You don't have anything. You've got a pancake in there. You know?
I got
Not
nothing.
Phil, he had his removed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's flat as a, but
I just have a urethra.
well, as I said the other day, the thing I loved about my urologist, I wrote him and I asked him if I should stop taking this one pill I was taking because, do I need it? And he said, well, let's face it, they fried your prostate. And he said, in parentheses, not a technical term.
That was finasteride, right?
Yeah.
Was it giving you any side effects?
No.
Finasteride.
He grew a lot of hair, didn't you notice?
Yeah, it was good for this right there.
Yeah.
Its name brand is Propecia, and they use it for hair growth too.
Yes, that's
For
correct.
anybody that doesn't know.
Yeah, but at Propecia though is a slightly different formulation, and I think isn't it a liquid, or is it a pill?
Yeah.
It's a liquid.
I don't know.
Yeah, this
If
is
you raise your hat, that's the surface of Mars.
yeah.
Oh, you're one to talk.
There's a mons difference there or something. Anyway, hey, you know something? There's that theme song. That ugly, horrible theme song that we play at the end of the show to say, shut the fuck up. But thank you, Phil. I always appreciate it when you drop by and stick around. And your usual wonderful pain in the ass. So I just want you to know that.
Scott didn't get mad at me.
You were pretty good. I must admit, it's been very pleasant with Phil here today.
Yeah, Phil's been pleasant lately, for the most part. Hey,
Well, I've had to shut him off because I usually listen. Then you're like, can't take it. I have to shut him off.
well, I'm glad you're here tonight, Scott. Good having you.
Thank you.
Kevin, great having you here as always. Jeff, love having you here. Alan, wonderful. And of course, Charlie Wallace. What would we do without you, Charlie? We probably have 6 people instead of 7. Anyway, that's all there is to it, folks. Why don't you all give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you here. And just say good night to you. There we go. There goes our citizen panel. Let me just get rid of them here so that they can go over and play with Jack Bishop, who is next over most of this same Gabnet. I'll be here again. Let's see here tomorrow night. Yeah, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her. Okay. Bye bye, everybody. See you later.